Animal diversity 2. Chordata phylum. Phylum Chordata. Module 2. Here in this module, we learn about subphylum Urochordata or Tunicata. As we know, the phylum Chordata classified into three subphylums: Urochordata and Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. Urochordata, which is also called Tunicata, Cephalochordata, and the third subphylum Vertebrata, Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. There are three subphylums. Okay, so in that Urochordata or Tunicata, having examples Acidia, Salpa, and Doliolum. Acidia, Salpa, and Doliolum are example for Urochordata or Tunicata. Urochordata is also called Tunicata. Cephalochordate, branchiostoma. Cephalochordate, branchiostoma. Then vertebrate. Subphylum vertebrata is further classified into two subclasses. That Anata, Gnathostomata. Gnathos means jaws. Anata, that in that A means that jaws are absent. A means absent. So, Gnathos, which means jaws. So Anata without jaws. Gnathostomata, the jawed vertebrates. Gnathostomata, which means the vertebrates, here they are jawed vertebrates. We say that gnathostomata. Okay, wait a minute. Anata, gnathostomata. Without vertebrates, without jaws, and vertebrate with jaws. So let me say once again that phylum Chordata classified into three subphylum. Subphylum Urochordata or Tunicata, subphylum Cephalochordata, and subphylum Vertebrata. Subphylum Vertebrata classified into Anata and Gnathostomata. Anata, which means without jaws. Gnathostomata, jawed vertebrates. Okay, so Anata is having again the two classes here, astracodermy and cyclostomata. Astracodermy. Animals of astracodermy are extincted actually. At present, there is no existence of astracodermy. That example we have cephalapsis. Cyclostomata. Cyclo, round, stoma, mouth. That means round-mouthed fish-like animals, we can say. They are not fishes actually. They are fish-like animals. Okay. Hmm. Gnathostomata. Let's talk about Gnathostomata. Example for cyclostomata are Petromyzon, lamprey, commonly called. Mixin is said to be hagfish. Mixin is called hagfish, but not the fish that is. Just why they are not called fishes, that when we go to the characters, we will say Gnathostomata, jawed vertebrates, further classified into that Pisces superclass that is, and Tetrapoda. The land vertebrates with two pairs of pentadoctyle limbs. What is pentadoctyle limbs? Penta, five fingered that limbs. Four limbs are hind limbs. In our normal language, hands or legs we are talking. Okay. So Pisces. The Pisces is like Placodermy, Chondrichthyes, and Astichthyes. Placodermy is the extinct fishes. Then Chondrichthyes and Astichthyes are the extant fishes. As we are seeing the difference between the extinct and extant in the invertebrate phyla also. In the extinct means gone. Millions of period of before they are used to live, but now their existence is not seen. Extant. That human is extant. That means live forms we are talking about. Okay, extinct. Placodermy is the extinct one. Placodermy is the extinct one. And Chondrichthyes and Astichthyes are said to be extant fishes. So there are three classes in that area: Placodermy, Chondrichthyes, and Astichthyes. To see the details, when you go to the general characters of Pisces, So tetrapoda. The land vertebrates with two pairs of pentadactyl limbs. Tetrapoda. Amphibia, frogs, reptilia, snakes and lizards. We can say turtles, tortoises, likewise. Then aves, birds. That mammalia itself, human being, tiger, lion, human being, all that examples we can say. Okay, so that is the basic, the pattern of classification we can say that chordata, subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata, and subphylum Vertebrata. Then subphylum Vertebrata further classified into Aenata and Gnathostomata. Aenata and Gnathostomata. What we said about Aenata? Aenata is said to be without jaws. Gnathostomata means are with jaws. Gnathostomata is with jaws, jawed vertebrates there. And Aenata, ostracodermy and cyclostomata. There are two classes there. Example for ostracodermy is Cephalapis and cyclostomata, Petromyzon and Mixin. Then the Pisces, Chondrichthyes and Astichthyes. That are the extant fishes. Extinct one is Placodermy. And other than that, remaining all are tetrapods, amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammals. Amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammals. Okay. So, I request you people need to take the screenshot of these two, that earlier one and this one. The both screenshots you should have, because whenever we are entering into the card data, we are going to learn their features individual. So we should know where they are exactly. When I am talking about amphibia, amphibia belongs to phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, and that superclass Tetrapoda. That you should know in that way. So here it is. Take the screenshots of earlier and here. This is the map of our chapter, total card data. Next, let's go with subphylum Urochordata, which is also called Tunicata. What is the euro? Tail. Notochord. So, as we said about that notochord, pharyngeal gill slit, dorsal tubular nerve cord, and post-anal tail. They are must for every organism. That's why whether you go for Urochordata or Cephalochordata or Vertebrata, wherever we go, we have to discuss whether the characters are present or not. So first of all, let us see the general characteristic features, that all Urochordates are marine in habitat. They occur from surface water to greater depths. They are either sessile or free living. Sessile example, we have Ascidian, the well-known example in the photograph you can see there. In general terms, it will be like this. Sessile, like Ascidians. We are talking about Ascidia or Herdimania. We used to say, this is the animal, same animal. I drawn here the same animal. Okay, so Ascidians. Next, pelagic. Free floating, we can say pelagic. And the water, the organisms who float on the free surface and the surface, we can say pelagic. Examples, salpa and doliolum. You can see the salpa there on the screen, and doliolum. Salpa and doliolum. So to be remembered, that examples. Okay, next, solitary, single. Example for single, again Ascidia, that is as I have shown here, that Ascidia is single. Okay. Next, there may be colony format. We can say pyrosoma. The pyrosoma. Let me show you the pyrosoma. The pyrosoma is the unique here as a bioluminescent organism. We have seen some bioluminescence in the invertebrates also, isn't it? In which phylum we are seeing the bioluminescent, almost all in that Annelida, Arthropoda, we also have the bioluminescent, but in our text, in which phyla bioluminescent organisms you are seeing?
Stenophora.
Ctenophora.
That bioluminescence, in which phylum? As a general character you are seeing. I am asking.
Ctenophora.
Very good. Tinophora. 2020 NEET question that is. Do you know? Very good. Very good. Tinophora. 2020 NEET question. Who is that?
Harini, sir.
Harini. Very good. So, bright future in 2022. Okay, let's come with it. All urochordates are marine. They occur from surface water to the greater depths. They are either sessile, like Ascidians, or pelagic, like Salpa and Doliolum, solitary, single, like Ascidia, colonial, like Pyrosoma. Pyrosoma is a bioluminescent organism. The uniqueness is that that emits a maximum light, the toppest in the bioluminescence, we can see. So why it is called tunicata? The body is unsegmented and covered by the test or tunic composed of cellulose, which is uncommon in animals. Okay, so this is very, very important one because of the test or tunic, which is look like cellulose. That means composition look like cellulose. So which is uncommon. Generally, we don't have cellulose. Isn't it? For only plants, the cellulose is present. So that's why these urochordates are also called tunicates. Urochordates are also said to be tunicates. Okay, we just talked about the pharyngeal gill slits, isn't it? So you can see in the diagram that particular pharyngeal gill slits. You see this gill slits are present. Okay, when we go to the characters that we'll discuss, the tunic, the body cover, cellulose, we can see. Coelom is absent, body cavity is absent. They are filter feeders. They pump the water inside and eat the food particles that they filter into their stomach. Let me show you. It's an urochordate. That's that stationary organism. When we talk about this particular Ascidia, we said it has sessile. Ascidia is sessile. And the stationary organism and solitary one. Mouth opens into, this is called oral aperture. That mouth opens into the buccal cavity, then the pharynx. Pharynx is having gill slits, whereas that particular intestine will open into the atrium, that what do you say, the atrial aperture. So they open out as atrial aperture. The chamber, we can say this is atrium. Okay. So what we are talking about, filter feeders. What is filter feeder? Water enters through. That water enters through the mouth and comes out through this particular pharyngeal gill slits. They have gill slits. They pump water inside and eat food particle and they filter food into their stomach. That means here, whenever the water is going, if the food particles which are present in the water are going to be trapped over from that water flow, we call it as suspension feeding or filter feeding. This is not new. We are seen in canal system in phylum Porifera. And as I said to you, in case of phylum Mollusca, that bivalvia, felci are also showing the suspension filter feeding. And in echinodermate, ambulacral water vascular system is for filter feeding. The similar kind of filter feeding you can see here also. Okay, so that any feeding process which by particulate food is filtered by the ciliary action from the water in which it is suspended is called filter feeding. Okay, that ciliary action or flagellary action, whatever. If from the flowing water, if you stop the food particle, we can say that suspension feeding or filter feeding. Where do you see this in case of protocardate? That now we are talking about. Urochordata is a protocardate. In case of porifera, canal system. In case of mollusca, felcipoda is having this kind of suspension feeding or filter feeding. So ectoderm lined atrial cavities surround the pharynx, in which gill slits, anus, and genital ducts are getting open. Okay, so this is the entry gate through which that water enters. Okay, so body is covered, we learned already tunic, and water enters through this and through that particular pharyngeal gill slits. From water enters into the buccal cavity, pharynx, and that alimentary canal opens into the atrial aperture. This is the exit gate. Okay, so internal anatomy of the particular organism we are showing here. So atrial cavity is lined by that ectoderm which surround the pharynx. So we can imagine here with the red color I am covering that that area is said to be atrial cavity. Okay, the total alimentary canal opens into the atrial cavity. Ventral side of the pharynx. This is very, very important that to be remembered as a unique feature of this particular organism. Ventral side of the pharynx possess an endostyle, which is believed to be the forerunner of thyroid gland of a vertebrate. We know that we have a thyroid gland that in the neck region, isn't it? So, similar like thyroid gland, this endostyle. Similarly, anatomical similarity, functional similarity we are talking. So that endostyle is present. The ventral side of the pharynx, there is a structure called endostyle. Next, the atrium leads to the exterior by a dorsal or posterior or atrial aperture. That means this is the oral aperture. I'm saying this back again. That means when you listen it for again and again, that will come into the mind, suspension feeding. That mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx to the pharyngeal gill slits, whatever we have. From there to the alimentary canal to the atrial aperture, it will come out as an atrial opening. Okay. So that's it about that atrial aperture. Here again, one more diagram. That means just focus on that. These are all new, isn't it? From fishes onwards, you don't feel anything new because you don't know this. That when we are running through Eurocard data, SCDN, SCDN comes in mind. That forgetting chances are going to be comparatively less. That's why I'm showing the diagrams again and again. So digestive tract. Digestive tract is complete. It begins with the mouth and ends with anus. Okay, so mouth, oral aperture, where the mouth is present, then buccal cavity, pharynx, then stomach, and intestine. Intestine opens into that atrial aperture, atrial cavity. From atrial cavity, that anus opens into the atrial cavity. From there, we are exiting out to the atrial aperture. So that's why we can say digestive tract begins from mouth and ends with anus. Next, the pharyngeal wall consists of two numerous gill slits are present. Have you seen these? These are all the lines, what we say, gill slits. Is just imagine like pharynx is punctured likewise. That means slits are present. What do you call? Pharyngeal gill slits. Next, the circulatory system. Open type of circulatory system is present. Open type of circulatory system. That open type of circulatory system, which means the blood flow in the body cavity. Blood vessels are present, but capillaries are absent. From the beginning, we are seeing. A very interesting heart you can see here. Simple tubular ventral heart, which is showing a periodical reversal flow of blood. So have you seen the heart here? A tubular heart. Okay, when I draw that down. This area. Have you seen the heart? Okay. So what is the speciality of heart here? It shows the periodical reversal flow of blood. Just I'll say what is periodical reversal flow. That means that when heart beats, it will pump the blood to this side one time, and it will pump the blood to this side. And that means in opposite direction, up and down likewise, because it's an open vascular system. Just simply practicing the future gain. That means that Eurocardita too, when you go to the last class mammalia, much developed heart with 4 chambers you'll find with a great pumping capacity, isn't it? So in the evolutionary sequence, we can say this is a very primitive heart. Just remember, tubular heart is present. Periodical reversal flow of the blood is a unique feature of them. Okay. The nervous system. is represented in the adult by a single dorsal ganglion. Actually, being carded, what should they have? The dorsal tubular nerve cord. But adult is having only a single dorsal ganglion. A single dorsal ganglion is present. Now let's come with the reproductive system. They are bisexual or hermaphrodites. Development include a free-swimming larval form, we say tadpole larva, is with a tail and dorsal halo nerve cord and a notochord which confined to the tail. So that tadpole larva, Ascidian tadpole larva, we use it to say, not to get confused with the tadpole larva of amphibian. We can say it as Ascidian tadpole larva. It has notochord. It has numerous pharyngeal gill slits and it has dorsal tubular nerve cord and post-anal tail. All they are present, and that particular the larval form is well developed when it is becoming the free living, free swimming, the larval form, which contain all chordate characteristic features like notochord, pharyngeal gill slits, dorsal tubular nerve cord, and post-anal tail, that all are present, this particular larval form is going to change into a primitive, that underdeveloped adult Ascidian. What do you call this particular feature as? This feature can be called as retrogressive metamorphosis. Well-developed larva. Just keep this in mind. Very interesting issue here, that well-developed larva. Okay. Then adult. So this well-developed larva is changing into a primitive adult. What do you say this feature as? Retrogressive metamorphosis. In any organisms who are becoming from larva to adult, we can say progressive metamorphosis, like caterpillar to the butterfly, like acidy, that tadpole to the frog, that in all of them we can see that progressive metamorphosis. These are only having the reverse one, retrogressive metamorphosis. One of the best example is Acidia. Okay, so then some examples will go here, that Acidia, Salpa, Doliolum, Pyrosoma, and Icopleura. Acidia, Salpa, Doliolum, Pyrosoma, and Icopleura. Okay, Icopleura is a, especially we can say that Icopleura is a colonial phosphorescent form. Okay, so before we go to the characteristic features and questions, that let me remind you once again that with a diagram you can remember everything. Okay, so that preparation mode I am saying here, how to prepare that Eurocard data. Have you are seen so many times that your Ascidian diagram, isn't it? So draw the Ascidian diagram like this. Okay, so then let us make a mind map with the known characters. We'll make a mind map. Means that we start from body cover. Body cover is tunicin, isn't it? Body cover is tunicin. The first thing here, the body cover is tunicin. Next, what is that? Oral aperture. Oral aperture. That means mouth. Mouth opens into the buccal cavity. Buccal cavity opens into the pharynx. Pharynx having pharyngeal gill slits, then stomach, intestine, and anus opens into the atrial chamber. Anus opens into the atrial chamber, atrial chamber. Okay, that everything genital ducts, all they open into the atrial chamber only. We are not learning full details. So this is atrial aperture or branchial aperture. We use this atrial aperture. Let's make it by new names. Oral aperture. Okay, so oral aperture, atrial chamber, tunicin. Next, our four general characteristics, chordate general characteristics. For example, that notochord, notochord. What about notochord? What about pharyngeal gill slits? What about the dorsal tubular nerve cord? Okay, and post-anal tail. So just keep all the 4 points in mind, that you will be able to answer all that particular questions. That means Eurocard data we are learning in the form of diagram. So make your own mind map. Make your own mind map. So by learning the characteristic features. Okay, let's come from the beginning. What we said, some are sessile. Sessile form only we are observing now. Eurochardata, Ascidian is sessile. And some are free living, sulfine, doliolum. So then locomotion, what we said now. Nutrition, the food collection, suspension mode of filter feeding. For that, I am showing these kind of that mark here. Wait. That we should show the mark here like this. Suspension mode of filter feeding. Pharyngeal gill slits opens into the atrial chamber from which that water goes off, and in that food collection will be happening. Digestive system itself shown mouth to anus. Mouth to anus. Anus opens into the atrial aperture. Respiratory system. That gill slits are present and gills are also present here. The branchial respiration we can say. Circulatory system. Just draw a small tubular heart with a periodical reversal flow of blood. A tubular heart with periodical reversal flow of blood. Okay. Next, open vascular system that you have to remember. If you remember that the respiratory pigment is unique here. Vanadium chromogen we use it to say. Then excretory system. Excretory system not mentioned in our textbook here. The primitive nephridia are present here. That excretory and nervous system. Nervous system actually larva is having dorsal tubular nerve cord. Larval form is having dorsal tubular nerve cord, and in adult will find a small mere ganglion. Okay. Next, the skeletal system. That we just already said it out. There is no particular skeletal, but tunicin is a cellulose like cover which on the body surface. Okay. Next, reproductive system. Hermaphrodite. That what do you call the bisexual animals? We said it out, and that larval form is Ascidian larva, Ascidian tadpole larva, and the Ascidian tadpole larva is well developed and that is becoming a primitive adult, what do you say, retrogressive metamorphosis. Retrogressive metamorphosis. Okay. So human brain is pictorial. That means human brain easily can remember the images. Okay. So let's do an experiment today that how you are going to draw the diagram is no matter. Whether you are understanding or not, that is the only matter. Let us try today with the Eurocardate general characters. You make a mind map and send me in the WhatsApp. Let's go. Some of the questions are given here. The ventral side of the pharynx in Eurocardate consists of. The ventral side of the pharynx in Eurocardate consists of.
Endostyle.
Endostyle.
Very good. Endostyle. My students never disappoint me. Okay. Eurocardate generally includes a free-swimming larva called
Tadpole larva.
Tadpole larva.
Tadpole
Eurocardate
larva.
generally include a free-swimming larva. Free-swimming larva of Eurocardate.
Tadpole.
Yes, tadpole. Free-swimming larva of Eurocardate is tadpole larva. Have you seen somewhere else this Sidicpid larva and the what do you call Muller's larva? A small mistake that is. Muller's larva and Radia. Sidicpid, Muller's and Radia. Are these larval forms earlier? Just think about them. That Muller's, not only right answer, you should know that particular the remaining one also. If you able to read the biology like that, that means if all the particular four options which are given, if they come in mind, that make you the more success in biology. Have you seen anywhere? Radia. I'll remember you. Miracidium, Sporosis, Radia, Cercaria, Metacercaria. Miracidium, Sporosis, Radia, Cercaria, Metacercaria. I don't leave you till you answer. I'm giving clues continuously. I'm giving clues.
Sir, Radia trematoda.
Very good, very good. Trematode. Fascial hepatic I'm drawing. That's what I said our human brain is pictorial. When I see the picture, when you can visualize. Okay, Muller's larva. This is not Muller, it's Muller's. Muller's larva. Muller's larva. Then another one is Cidipid larva. Think about them. Think about them. We learned the Muller's also. Mullers are Mullaria. The interesting thing here, this larva look like a ctenophore, but not in ctenophora. But we didn't learn that in the ctenophora. Where we learned?
Platyhelminthes.
Platyhelminthes, very good. Class. We have three options there. Turbularia, Trematoda, and fish.
Turbularia.
Muller
Turbularia.
belongs to Turbularia. Okay, so one more left over. No, nothing left over. Cidipid larva, you said it now. Chaplin. Cidipid larva. What about Cidipid? Muller's is over. Muller's is actually Muller's larva look like ctenophore, but that is Turbularia. That means ancestors existence. Turbularians are platyhelminthes. Before that, you'll find ctenophora. That's why they look like their larva look like the ctenophore. Okay, Cidipid is the larva of ctenophora. So I'm no okay. Okay, Radia. Radia is the larva of Trematoda. Okay, for NEET level, you should remember as a phylum only. Trematoda of phylum Platyhelminthes. Turbularia, Platyhelminthes, ctenophora. Okay, be prepared in that particular manner. That is very important. That means not only the right answer, remaining options, what they are exactly. If you practice in that particular way, that animal diversity 1 and 2, our total biology will be like that only. Total biology, our success is there itself. Okay, our success is there itself. So that's why you should practice when you see the 4 options. Not putting a single option and not getting happy ourselves by looking, yeah, I got the answer. What about the remaining? If you think like that, you don't find 45 questions every time. You'll find 200 questions. Isn't it? 4 options each question.